Right, so at the gym today, I think I'm gonna start trying to do some commentary, kind of like in the middle of the gym. I finally got a mic that I want to use, just because I would rather do it in the moment rather than like having to go home and then talk over it like I have been and talk over my workouts after. So I think with the mic, I'll do a little bit, in the gym. But anyway, today is chest and buys. Um, we'll start with chest. Probably start with the incline hammer strength. That's what I usually do. I go back and forth between that and the Smith machine. Obviously, doing anything that can converge will help your chest a lot. Cables, any machine that will do it, dumbbells. Probably start with the incline hammer strength. Then, depending on how I feel, I'll do some lighter squeezing movements, such as cables. The reason why I do buys with chest and then I'll do triceps with back is because when you're doing chest, you get a little bit of tricep activation anyway. Like it's like impossible to not really. And so if I do triceps first, then I could be hindering my chest. And if I do chest first, then my triceps will already be a little bit fatigued. Not that it'll really hinder it that much, but it could, because they are getting worked and they're going to be a little fatigued anyway. So if I do chest and biceps, I can get like maximum output for both. And then same thing for back and triceps. Now, I used to do it with shoulders too. Front delt, you can use the same logic. Your front delt gets used a lot in chest movements. So I would switch it to doing front delts on back day. And then I would do rear delt on chest day. Now, I think that's a little unnecessary. I don't do that anymore, as well as the fact that I don't do front delt movements as much right now. I feel like I get a lot of activation in my chest movements, especially because I do a lot of incline work. So I don't do front delts anymore. I'll do it every once in a while. Maybe I'll do like one movement for like a few sets on my arm and shoulder day. But I don't do front delts anymore, so I don't do that, and I put rear delt back on back day. And then I'll do a little bit of lateral delt today with chest and buys. And then in order to hit everything twice a week, I'll have an arm and shoulder day dedicated to hit everything I just said. Bi, tri, shoulder. And then I'll have a second back day, but I won't hit tries on that day. And then recently, I've been hearing a lot more about that your chest might actually take longer to recover, and that it doesn't need to be worked with as much frequency. Don't know if this is accurate, true or not, but a little theory that I'm going to test out for a little bit, that I'm only going to hit it once a week. Now, I've already been on the, super high intensity, much lower volume type of split anyway. So before, I was doing maybe 8 to 10 sets for my back, hitting it only 4 or 5 sets a day for twice a week. Now, I'll probably do 4 to 6. Maybe I'd push up to 6 just a little bit, but only hit it once a week. So that's what I'm doing today. I'll hit 4 to 6 sets of chest. Like I said, I'll start with heavier movements. I do that for every day, every split, every muscle group that I do, because it just seems to make the most sense for me. I'm like you go to the gym at the very beginning, that's when you are the absolute strongest. That's when you're going to be able to move the most amount of weight no matter what. So I will push as heavy as weight as I can on the kind of more compound movements, on the heavier movements. I'm not going to sit there and start with cable flies or a pec deck or for back pullovers. I know some people like to do that because it kind of opens up their back. It's fine reasoning. I just don't like doing that personally. Even on leg days, I hate starting with a hamstring curl or a leg extension. Some people like doing that to warm up their knees, or if they're warming up for a hack squat. A lot of talk recently has been to start with hamstrings, you know, to build that kind of foundation. I don't like doing that. I also split up my leg days. So I have a quad focus day and a hamstring focus day. Now on each day, I'll still hit one movement, usually the leg extension or the hamstring curl, for a few sets, and that's it. So on a quad day, I'm still hitting like 2 sets of a hamstring curl, just because I like to hit a little bit. But I'm not going to start with that, because it will hinder my hack squat a little bit. Probably not even really enough to notice it, but at the very least, just like my nervous system, like I'm going to be just like gassed. Not fully, right? But slightly more. You know, I have X amount of gas in the tank. I don't want to use up any of it before something like a hack squat, or if you have a pendulum squat, a super heavy movement, because I want to be as strong as I can. And same reasoning, like I said hamstring curl, so it probably would be even less, right? But if you start with a leg extension, you're going to be that much more fatigued. I mean, I go super heavy, not heavy, but like crazy on my leg extensions, and they're super painful. I wouldn't want to do that for multiple sets and then still have to go and do my hack squat. So I start with hack squat. Well, technically I'll start with calf raises, but whatever. So I'll start with heavier movements today. Then I get to a point where I can't hardly move very much weight if I continue to do heavy movements. I've noticed that pushing past 8 sets in a day, my strength just drastically declines. So I'll do a few real heavy, and then I'll switch to a cable fly, whether if it's seated or if it's, you know, if that machine isn't open, then I'll just have to do it standing. I prefer doing it seated, but whatever. And just to really fully stretch the pec, get every little, you know, muscle firing at the very end, just to get everything out of the tank as possible, is the goal. And then after that, move with biceps. 2 to 3 movements, probably only 4 or 5 sets, maybe maximum. And then, like I said, we'll do lateral delts, probably just 1 or 2 movements. Lateral delts and shoulders, really in general, are pretty simple. I mean, so are arms, but whatever. So I'm just going to finish up my electrolytes and my water, and then we'll get after it. So on this day, I'll usually start with a little bit of a warm-up, just because my elbows, my shoulders can get sometimes a little bit of pain, a little bit of discomfort. So before I go into my heavy pressing, I'll try to warm up my elbows, warm up my triceps, warm up my shoulders a little bit, my rotator cuff. Nothing intense at all, just to get the blood flowing a little bit. Also, the incline hammer strength press is taken right now, so we're kind of just stalling till it's open. But yeah, I'll usually just do 2 to 3 rounds of this. Nothing intense, like I said. I'm not going on failure. I'm not doing working sets or anything, but I'll just do this until I feel pretty decent, or until hammer strength press is open, which it's not open yet, so we'll probably go for a 3rd round. I already did one before this recording, but yeah, I highly recommend doing this, or any type of kind of semi-joint work. You know, if you have troubles with your knees, ankle, hips, to do anything before you squat, I'd highly recommend that. If you have kind of a tweaked up shoulder, definitely recommend doing some shoulder work. My right shoulder, it's really not painful, but just discomfort usually. So yeah, we'll probably just do one more set. set, right? Again, not working, but until the incline hammer strength is ready. Then we'll go over there and start our chest. First working here. So the way I used to train before I did the, high intensity, low volume was I always felt like, if you did 4 by 12, right, or whatever, ish. Sometimes in school, we would do like a 12, 10, 8, 6 or whatever, like kind of pyramid down. And so I'd always say, I don't want to start off with like my heaviest top set because I don't want to, tweak something and start really heavy, But if you properly warm up, there's nothing wrong with that at all. So I did like a plate, a quarter, or a plate, and then a plate and a quarter, and then 2 plates, and then this now. And then because I'm doing low volume, this will be my top set, failing anywhere between 5 and 9, hopefully. And then I'll only do 1 more set. I'll do 2 sets total. Because I want to fail between that 5 and 9 rep range, I'll usually be kind of fatigued by the time I do my second set. So I'll usually back off, drop the weight a little bit. For example, here I'll probably take off the 10 and the 5, just do 2 plates. And then again, 5 9 reps, hopefully. So yeah, let's get after it. So recently I've been enjoying this movement a lot. It's basically just an incline cable fly. I just like doing it seated or laying down. I feel like trying to do like a low to high fly for your upper chest is just hard and it's awkward standing up. So if a bench is open, I'll swing it over here. Same thing as usual. 2 sets, trying to fail in between 5 to 9, and then I'll usually do a mechanical drop set where I'll start with flies. And when I can't get another fly, I'll switch to presses. A reason why I also don't do as much decline movements is because something like this, sometimes if I arch my back too much, which happens kind of instinctively when I'm starting to fail, if I arch my back too much, I'm going to get more lower to mid chest anyway and less upper chest. So trying my best to keep an arch out of my back, but it just happens. So if it starts to happen, I'm not going to shy away from it. I'm going to allow myself to do that. If it's going to let me get another rep or 2, that's what I'll do. And then, of course, finish off partial. So let's get to it. Okay, so I wanted to do the seated cable flying machine over that way, but it's broken. So we're doing this today, and I'll go back and forth between this and that, but I just kind of like the cables more. And then I had to wait for this for forever too, and I was like, do I just do a standing cable, whatever? And yeah, so I just decided to wait for it. But yeah, pec deck to finish off chest. Say again? You're doing them wrong.
You're actually supposed to do them with your legs.
Imagine. Like the adductor machine. Please do that. Like sit up here, put your legs here, and you're just. Please do that.
If I was that flexible, I would.
Yeah, I think I'd actually probably tear my leg muscle off the fucking bone if I did that. And then you could just do bicep curls. Do bicep curls and a leg extension.
Of course.
You're like proning. Yeah. Of course. Just like when people would do like barbell curls in the squat rack. That shit pisses me off. So this will probably be the only lateral delt movement that I'll do. But it's a pretty intense one, pretty difficult one. So another mechanical drop set where I'll face that way first and I'll do more Y raises. And then same thing as usual, trying to fail in between 5 and 9. But usually it's pretty low in that range, like closer to 5. Because even if I go for like 3 to 5, and then I turn the other way, I'll do kind of behind the back, like regular lateral raises. And if I get another 3 to 5, then I'm still kind of failing in between that 5 to 9 range, basically. But I also don't mind going for a little bit more reps for something like delts, just because to feel the burn a little bit better. Because your delts don't really need a whole lot of weight. You don't need to be, especially the lateral and the rear delt. Front delt, arguably, sure, fine. But for lateral and rear delt, you really don't need very much weight. Just, proper execution is all you really need. So I'll do 2 sets of that. That'll probably be the only thing I do for delts today. So for the first bicep movement, we'll do this preacher curl. Sometimes I'll go back and forth between doing it single arm or both arms at the same time. For a while, doing it with both arms, I wasn't really feeling my biceps all that much. I feel like I was getting more forearm just because of the angle of the handle. I don't know. So I would do it single arm, and then I would really angle my body to kind of help it. So I go back and forth. But yeah, I went back to both arms last week, and it felt really good. And it does, of course, allow me to go heavier. So it kind of follows that same logic. I'll start with something heavy-ish, obviously, right? I'm not doing barbell curls with a whole plate on the side or anything. But we'll fail at this anywhere between 5 and 9, and then we'll help ourselves on the way up, and then just do the eccentric, and then we might lower the weight by a notch or 2, and then we'll do hammer curls to failure again, kind of like mechanical drop set again. I would normally lower the weight for a mechanical drop set, kind of more turns into a drop set, right? But because of taking it all the way to failure, even doing the assisted concentric, right, and just doing the eccentric, I'm completely torched at that point. But I want to work my brachialis, so I do a little bit of hammer grip at the very end. So yeah, 2 sets of this, and then we'll move on to the next bicep. Okay, so to finish up biceps, we're just doing dumbbell curls. I'll do alternating. I don't care for doing them at the same time. But then I'll fail doing dumbbell curls, and then we'll do hammer curls after, like a mechanical drop set. And then we'll only do 2 sets of this, and then we're done. So. IRL rocket ride. That's the play right there.
Grab on.
Yeah. Here, I got you. Just build a wall, edit a door, or just jump, yeah.
Friendly fire.
Boo-doo.
I need a res.
I need a res. I got ray gun, res me. Just download Steak.